Am I the idiot for asking to take the son I gave up on vacation with me? So I, 26 female, was inspired to write this by another post that I saw that seemed similar to my situation. When I was 19 I gave birth to a boy named Alex, he's 7 now. I didn't bond with him at all when he was a baby, and even though I loved him more than anything, my life was ruined and he would be too. I was failing my classes, I couldn't work and I couldn't afford babysitting. I gave Alex up to my mom and stepdad and they've raised him as their own ever since. My mom and stepdad took on the role of grandparents, and while I wasn't there for Alex as a baby, he knows me as mom, which I am so thankful that my mom allowed. Thankfully my parents are tech savvy, so I was able to FaceTime with him every night. My grades went good, I have a degree, a good job and am in a relationship I hope will lead to marriage. My fiancé Jacques, 30M, knows how important Alex is to me even though he doesn't live with me and isn't being raised by me. My parents still have guardianship over Alex, but he started spending a weekend every month at my place. But we still FaceTime good morning, after school and good night every day. Yesterday, Jacques surprised me with tickets to go with him to his cabin in Ontario for a week. Jacques really likes Alex and wants to get to know him better. Jacques is really impressed by how smart Alex is and thinks he could get him into the local private school he teaches at. But I'll admit that Alex doesn't really know him even if he's told me thinks he's cool. I know I can't force love, but if Jacques didn't respect my son even if I'm not raising him, I never would be with him. But I also don't feel I can get married unless Alex is okay with it either. So I asked Jacques if he could get a third ticket so Alex could come with us, and he agreed right away even though it'd cost more. I called my mom and stepdad and asked if I could take Alex on vacation after Christmas since he'll be off school for the next 2 weeks. My mom didn't seem that enthusiastic about it. My stepdad pretty angrily told me that my mom and Alex already had plans for that week and that they did not want to cancel them, and that he was really upset and hurt by me asking without even thinking they had something going on. He told me to go and sort out my priorities before phoning them back. I talked to a friend of mine after that who I appreciate for being blunt, and she told me it was an idiot thing to ask because I didn't focus on Alex enough to even know that he and my parents might have plans. And I've felt super terrible about it since, because I don't want to be taking my parents for granted. I told Jacques and he told me I wasn't wrong to ask since I wasn't demanding anything, and that my friend was wrong for saying that I was an idiot, but I'm not sure. Now for a few comments before the update. You're the idiot. But only a teeny tiny bit. You should have asked if Alex was available before just making plans on a time that he wasn't scheduled to be with you. It's not a big deal, you're by no means the biggest idiot I've seen here, but you should have asked if he was available from his guardians before you just up and made plans for him. Comment 2, not the idiot. For asking at all. I think your parents may be getting worried that you'll want custody of your son if you settle down with your partner. Now for the update. Hey everyone, my fiancé learned of my account yesterday and advised me to make an update cause I got voted idiot. After I posted I was going to go to my parents and apologize in person, but my stepdad came over instead. He took me to the ice cream shop he'd take me to when I was little to talk. I used some of your pointers in our talk. He apologized for making the comment about my priorities and said he was wrong. He told me how proud he was of how far I've come, how I'm the light of his life and that he'd always stand by me. He told me he and mom were scared I'd try and take custody of Alex since I am finally ready to be a mom, and if that's what I want, then he'll support me. I told him I just want what's best for Alex, but my biggest fear is he'll grow up thinking I didn't love him and I want him involved with me and Jacques cause he's the most important thing to me, that I don't feel like I can get married or have more kids unless he's okay with it cause he's my baby. We agreed to work something out after Jacques and I came back from the cabin. He gave me a big hug and a kiss on the forehead when he dropped me off. That was the last time I saw my stepdad. He had a massive heart attack when we were at the cabin and he passed. I don't like typing that. I moved back in with my mom and Alex because I don't want my mom to be lonely or for Alex to feel abandoned. Since then I've kind of gotten to really be a mom. I've been making all Alex's food, dropping him off, picking him up, helping with homework, putting him to sleep, cuddling with him. Everything my stepdad did for me. It's tiring, but it's more rewarding than anything, and I just wish I could see my stepdad again and ask if I'm doing a good job. Thankfully my work has provided grief counseling and I'm able to take Alex with me. I think it's helped him more than me cause when my mom put up a photo of when my stepdad first took me fishing, and when I saw it when I came home I just broke down crying cause I miss him so much, but then Alex came and hugged me and said, "Mommy, you don't need to cry." For my mom I'm going to keep stepping up and be there for her. And for Alex I'm going to try and get stronger than I am so I can be the mom he deserves. Thank you guys for giving me help before. I know things are a bit sad now, but I think the future is a bright one and my stepdad always told me to look forward. Thanks. Comment 1. Obviously we don't know each other, but I want to say, I'm really proud of you and the growth you have made. You made a beautiful decision to allow your mom and stepdad to help raise your son. Your son will know the growth you have made and appreciate you for this. Being a mom is the most complicated and rewarding role we will ever play. It's beautiful that you have grown into that role, and I wish your family a wonderful life. My condolences to you and your family for your loss. Comment 2. OMG. OP, I'm so sorry. Had I read your original post, I wouldn't have called you the idiot. It just sounded like a misunderstanding. Either way, the passing of your stepdad must be so very hard on you. I'm glad you're able to get grief counseling for you and your kiddo. Now, for the next story. Am I the idiot for making my son take his clothes to a laundromat? My wife and I have a 20-year-old son, Jake. Jake's personal hygiene when it comes to clothing has taken a steep nosedive over the last year or so. He showers regularly, but he will only clean his clothes once a month, sometimes even longer than that, and it's never an overly full basket. So he's literally wearing the same dirty clothes, including underwear and socks, over and over again. We've tried to talk to him about how this can affect his health and asked if he's feeling depressed or needs to talk to someone, but he insists he's fine and he just doesn't have time/want to run the washer every week. Towards the end of the month he smells awful, no matter how often he showers. Since he's an adult, we can't force him to do his laundry more often, and my wife won't even go near his bedroom and do it for him, nor should she have to. Here is the current issue. Whenever Jake does eventually end up doing laundry, the machine ends up stinking like, I don't even know, a sewer? Rotting flesh? Something terrible that I can't even describe. Afterwards, my wife has to run 2 clean cycles, one with bleach and one with a washer cleaning pod, just to get the smell out before we can use it again. If she doesn't clean it, our clothes will smell like that, so it takes 4 hours to basically reset our machine every time he does laundry. We told Jake that if he continues to insist to only do laundry once a month, then he will need to start taking it to a laundromat, because we refuse to continue to have to sanitize our machine because he doesn't want to do it more often. We feel this is a fair compromise to extend the life of our washing machine and our sanity. Jake works full-time and doesn't pay any type of rent so that he can save up for his own place, and he has a car. There are 3 laundromats within a 5-minute drive from our house, so not like we're making him go far to do laundry or that it's something he wouldn't be able to afford. And if he were to start being more responsible and clean his clothes on a weekly basis, it wouldn't even be an issue to let him use the machine. But his clothes are so disgusting, we're concerned about what else it might be doing to our washer other than leaving a horrid permeating smell. Jake told my parents, and they think we're assholes, and told Jake to bring his clothes to them and his grandmother will wash them for him, and Jake is currently not speaking with us. I don't feel like we're assholes, but my wife is hurt and starting to consider backing down, so she wanted me to post. Are we assholes for making our adult son take his laundry to the laundromat instead of using our home washer? Edit to add, this is really the only issue Jake has. He works hard, he has a lot of friends and is very social, he helps around the house when asked, he takes care of his own bills, car payment, insurance, phone, etc. He is, outside of this one thing, a pretty responsible kid. He just insists he hates doing laundry, sees it as a waste of time, and won't do it more than once a month. My wife even suggested in the past that he just buy enough clothing, even just socks and boxers, to last him a month if he wants to only do laundry that often, but he said that he'd have to do 2 loads at that point. It's like this is the hill he's willing to die on, but it's just such a smelly one. Now for a few comments before the update. Not the idiot. The worst thing you can do is back down. He found a solution, that is, his grandparents. Let that go on for a while and see how it goes. Meanwhile, you and your wife should have a conversation about giving Jake a due date to move out and be on his own. Comment 2, not the idiot. Let grandma wash them since she offered. I can't believe his job hasn't said something about the stench. Now for the update. I appreciate all the comments and judgments received. I felt I should provide an update as it's been nearly a month and another wash day for Jake has come to pass. Many of you mentioned to just let my mother do his laundry and she'd find out why we banned him from using our washer, and you were right. I was not present when he brought his laundry to her house, but she called me directly after saying that she and Jake got into an argument because she kept asking him what was wrong with him that he would wear such dirty clothing. She apparently asked if he was depressed, if he needed help, etc. In the end he yelled at her that nothing is wrong and he doesn't understand why everyone is at him all the time over some goddamn clothes. He said he feels like laundry is pointless, he doesn't sh*T or P himself. And he's not out doing manual labor and getting everything dirty, so he doesn't understand why it even matters, and he took his, still dirty, clothes and left. When he came home a few hours later his clothes were clean, so I'm assuming he must have taken them to a laundromat. Later that night he told his mother and I that he has decided to move in with a friend whose roommate is leaving at the end of next month, and that he's tired of us being in his business and lecturing him about dumb sh*T. That doesn't matter. I love my son, but to be honest, I feel relieved. I do think, as many of you pointed out, that we were coddling him a bit, and we were starting to worry about his ability to function as an independent adult if things stayed the same much longer. I think that having a roommate will force him to take more responsibility for his own cleanliness, and maybe give him an idea of what it's like to have to coexist with adults who aren't family. I mentioned in my comments that my wife and I were planning to sell the house and make a move in the next few years. But with Jake deciding to move out, we think now is actually a good time. The market is red hot. Her job announced they're downsizing the office and anyone who wants to permanently work from home is welcome to. And my employer has a couple openings coming up out west that would be a good fit for me, and they're always happy to work with people who want to relocate. Once Jake moves out, we're going to assess the state of his room, fix some things up, and list it, appliances included, My wife is worried about leaving Jake, but I think she has come to acknowledge that he needs to do this and that ultimately if anything were to happen we'd be a plane ride away. Plus, it will undoubtedly take a few months to get the house ready to sell and a new job lined up, so he should be more established in his new place by the time we move. Again, I appreciated all the advice we received and the reality checks. This was surprisingly helpful. Mini-second. Update. Just wanted to throw a quick edit because I see a few people judging us for moving. I want to be very clear, we are not moving to run away from our son. It has always been our intention to leave New York and move somewhere warmer once he got his own place. We just anticipated on him staying a couple more years to save more money for his own apartment/house. This has been something we've been planning for the last decade. But his decision and the knowledge that my wife won't have to spend some time looking for a new job somewhere else has sped up this process. Also, some people seem to be under the impression that we can somehow force Jake into therapy. We cannot. He may be our child, but he is also legally an adult. We are not able to make him go to the doctors or see a therapist, and he is refuting that there is anything wrong. You can't bar someone for wearing dirty clothes and not wanting to do laundry. All we can do is repeatedly assure him that we support him if he needs to speak to someone. We've already offered to pay for therapy, take him to therapy, attend therapy with him if he wants it. He insists there is nothing wrong with him, and he just hates doing laundry. We don't know how we could have raised him in a way to avoid this because this problem didn't arise until he became a full-fledged adult, maybe because now he knows we can't ground him if he doesn't clean his clothes or something. I don't know. But I understand that some people will still place blame on us regardless. I'd love to hear some actual explanation on what you would have done differently other than therapy or doctor, because again he will not go, and we cannot force him. Comment 1. Love how the grandparents immediately changed their tune as soon as they saw how gross your son was being. Wearing underwear for weeks on end, gross. I pity the roommate and any future washing machines your son will be involved with, TBH. If you're up to it, please update us again about how things are going once Jake is out on his own for a while, and if you sell your house. Comment 2. Jake's roommate isn't going to put up with his poop. Be prepared for him to beg you to take him back in, but please stand firm. You and your wife deserve happiness.